I want to give a shout out to the young lady in this video. Uh, you did exactly the complete opposite of what I would have did. I am not that invested, but because I have covered this a number of times, I figured I'm going to get first of all give you credit where it's due, and we're just going to have to break down this Tia Mowry new boyfriend situation. Um, I'm gonna let you get your balls off, and then we're gonna chop it up.
Yeah, Mowry is shaking, and I'm so glad to see her in the news for something that has nothing to do with Cory Hardrict. So Tia was caught out with her new boo. When I first saw this photo, I'm not gonna lie, I said, why are y'all sending me this AI? Tia does not have this young, fine piece of man. And she absolutely does, and I'm so happy for her. Did a little research on him though. There's a lot to the story. Let's talk about it. Now, this is the LinkedIn of Tia's new boo. Now, it's hard to pronounce his name. I don't want to do it in private, but is it Javon Armada? Is it Javane Armada with that E, that apostrophe E? But it could just be Javane Armada, okay? He's from Cleveland, Ohio. He's actually from East Cleveland. I've had to do a little digging and find some mutuals that we both know. Now, when they were looking up his age, they were trying to determine his age, and it said that he went to University of Toledo from 2008 to 2012. That's exactly when I went, and I'm 35. So they were guessing that he's 36. He could be 35, 36. They were saying he's between that age and 40. But to me, he looks my age. He looks 35. He's very handsome. Now, Tia, I don't want you to be mad at me because I'm not trying to be disrespectful by calling him handsome, but that's definitely a face. That's a face. That's something to wake up to.
Uh, I think it's a little weird that you went out of your way to research this man' personal life. That's a little weird. I'm not gonna hold you like this. The shit that we be talking about. If the woman is interested in you, 9 times out of 10, she done already did research on you. This how they be scouting football players and basketball players and shit like that. They already be on their phone, on their computer, tablet, looking at your stats, and they do that shit all before they even meet you in person. Tia done had plenty of dudes coming at her, plenty of them. How did she ended up in his proximity? But let me shut up.
He looked taller than her. Like, that's something to turn over, look behind you while you throwing it back and be like, you look all right. Mm-hmm. Definitely something to see. And even though he might be younger than her, she's in her 40s, he's in his 30s. They have the same type of kids. He has a daughter and a son. So I love that. His son looked to be a little bit older. When I looked at the picture,
If this was a different situation and the dude was older than the woman, would you have that same response? I think not. They make provisions for those they are attracted to. I don't even think the age thing really matters to them because it's cool when cougars do it. When men do it, yeah, but y'all out here sleeping with teenagers and students and shit. Whatever. I digress. Matter of fact, let me shut up.
pictures from him in 2020 on his Facebook, I found his kids. So I was like, okay, you got your kids on Facebook. You're not hiding your kids. This was like 2020. So that means if your son was like 10 here,
You done went and pulled up the man's kids. Like you really dug. I'm convinced you all do this shit.
He's probably like 16. And if your daughter, their kids, she has a teenage son, she has like a younger child daughter. So I think that they have a lot more in common than we may think. He's also an artist. So they're saying that he is an art teacher or administrator of the arts. And he lives in LA now, but he's from Cleveland. Looks like he's very learned. When I looked up his educational background, looks like he's graduated, looks like he had a master's. So this is somebody that, probably it works in a collegiate artistic level. And they have drawing lessons on his site, Dally Boy Card CO. So he's working as an artist. I'm sure he's working to make a living, in LA. And he meets this baddie who got the same amount of kids as him. And he's like, "You got a teenager and a daughter?" She's like, "I got a teenager and a daughter." And they, they're dropping off at soccer practice. And we don't know if they could have met with their kids. With their kids being the same age, it could be like, "Well, my daughter friends with your daughter. They're the same age and you're a single daddy. You're kind of fine." So you never know, but it doesn't seem as inappropriate to me as people are saying. Now, to meet somebody like a Tia Mowry when moving to LA is the jackpot, but I think that's a good thing. I really commemorate the girls that are kind of doing what I like to call the K Michelle. They're just going and finding a nice dentist. Some of the girls' careers are so big and they're so out of this world. They're like, "I need a nice art professor. I need a nice dentist. I need a nice engineer." I'm married to a doctor, and I'm
Translation, you think the guy is safe. You think you have leverage over him. You think that you can pretty much walk over the person, or because of your position versus his, that you have more rights to move however you choose to. Them guys always existed. Dentists, doctors, all that, but you're not checking for them. Why? You're only looking towards them now for the same reason that you typically would if you were an average woman, but you're not. You need someone who makes a significant amount of money. It has nothing to do with their character. Everything that she was talking about had nothing to do with character, if he was a good person or not. All she knew is he was attractive and tall. I had a decent job. That's all I heard here.
a global superstar, someone that has their own money and their own accolades, but you're the star of the show. This could really balance her out. He looks like a clean cut young man. They was showing her posting dressed like the last dude you kissed, and clearly he likes her goofy side, and she looks like she's smiling and glowing, and she's getting deep down, and we don't got to worry about Cory Hardrict no more. Now, I did see on Layla Lynn channel on YouTube, she said like Cory Hardrict, every time you looked them up together, he was never smiling. They always looked disturbed. He always had like a more stoic face. She said, even when the girls would be beaming, for him, it always give, "What time are they leaving? I don't want to be here," stoic. But I do believe, y'all, I think that was just because of Cory's teeth. I saw he got his teeth done. I think they're by Dr. Q. And if he was given this before, I'm sure I would keep a non-smile on my pictures too. Now, he, like they said, he going to find everything funny now. So I think that
Taking shots at this man and you don't even know the inside and outs of the relationship, the marriage at all. You just throwing shade at that man for what? But I already knew what type of situation this was going to be anyway. I've seen the comments. I know your audience. Y'all swear up and down. Y'all don't do nothing wrong. Everything is tailored to your needs and your wants. If it don't go that way, then he's doing something wrong or he's showing up short or whatever the fuck. You didn't have to bring this man up, talk about that man's teeth and all that other shit. What was the point of that? How do you not even consider that maybe she was the problem? But that's what y'all do. Y'all throw shade at everybody, but you don't hold each other accountable when y'all fall short in the relationship. So now she got her a new toy that she can play with. Everybody is like, "Oh, you go, girl. He's younger than you, but hey, we can accept it because you're a woman. If it was a dude, we'd have all the smoke in the world." I'm gonna stop it right there. I ain't gonna pay it. It ain't nothing but a few seconds. I'm gonna say this. I hope everything work out for her. I do. But the problem I have with this situation is that the way that she was moving on social media, the way she was dressing, how she was carrying on, asking dudes to be in her DMs, the whole reading the messages out for everybody and this, that, all that thirst trapping shit with her print being in the camera. And I don't know if she has the maturity for this type of relationship. This is an entirely different man. I don't know. I really don't think she really healed, but who's to say she didn't? Good luck to you both. To this man who decided to take her on, good luck to you, sir, because you definitely got a tall task, because she's definitely going to be comparing you to him. You don't think so, but she will, because guess what? There was no real indication that he did her wrong. There was no true concrete evidence that Cory Hardrict did anything wrong to her. It just seemed like she got bored and wanted out. So she thinks you're going to be fun, but if the consistency isn't there, it's going to be a problem. If she hasn't figured out how to stay inside of a situation that isn't favorable to her, when things ain't always lighthearted and it get rough at date, y'all gonna be seeing her back up here again. What are your thoughts?